Right now, let's go back and refocus for a few moments on today's huge decision to repeal net neutrality, which has been very controversial. Joining me in the studio is Connie Guglielmo, the editor-in-chief of CNET News. Connie, thanks so much for being here. Great to have you with us.
My pleasure.
Let's talk about this decision. We're talking about what it means for businesses, but what does it mean to you and me, the average person who uses the internet?
So in the near term, it doesn't mean very much. The rules actually won't go into effect until early next year.
Okay.
There are going to be lots of lawsuits over this decision, which will carry it out for a while. So your day-to-day experience in the near term won't be very different.
Potentially, what would it mean?
Potentially, in the long term, depending on whose side you're on. If you're on the side of the businesses, they claim that not having net neutrality rules in place will mean that they can up their investment, bring you new kinds of services. You want a self-driving car, you want to be able to have rock-solid internet access to your car, telemedicine, have real-life operations. They'll be able to deliver those kinds of futuristic services. If you're a consumer on the other side who's not very trusting of the cable companies, right, it could mean that the way that you buy your internet service changes. They can charge you more for access to certain services. They can charge people like Netflix more to deliver content. Those costs are going to be passed on to the consumer.
So it could ultimately cost us more money depending on what happens.
It could cost you more. It could limit what you see and what you have access to.
Which is what the fear was by critics of this idea, obviously.
Absolutely.
What about, we just did a report a few minutes ago on the effect this might have on tech companies in Silicon Valley. They're a little nervous about this, that it could really squelch startups' ability to get into the game. What do you think? Yes,
there are concerns by industry groups on both sides. The big companies, Google and Facebook and Netflix, have come out against this because they're concerned on the effect, how their services are going to be delivered to consumers. Startups could be at a disadvantage if they're forced to pay more and they have to somehow raise funds that giant companies can just write a check for. So it could limit the start of new kinds of streaming services, music services, anything actually that's delivered over the internet.
So companies with deep pockets will weather this
a
little bit better than...
Although they may pass on the cost to consumers as well.
Oh, okay. Well, bottom line then, who wins, who loses today?
So for sure, it's a big win for the broadband and internet industries. And partly the biggest win is kind of a wonky thing. They were classified as similar to telephone companies under the net neutrality rules, which means the FCC could bring these kinds of regulations against them. Today's rules, the rule change wipes that off the book. So that means that the only complaints that can be brought are by the FCC. And the FCC only brings those kinds of cases against people that are doing anti-consumer things when there's actually something harmful that's happened.
And it all sort of reflects the rapidly changing environment all of this is happening in, isn't
it? Yeah, this is a big deal. Everyone should pay attention to because the internet is such a pervasive part of our lives.
Sure, every day now. Okay, Connie, thanks. Connie Guglielmo with CNET, thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure.